Today,
for the fourth time in her career,
Bayley.
It feels so good to call myself your new champion.
Naomi.
I have earned everything that I've gotten, and I don't plan on stopping now.
Tiffany Stratton.
Everyone is gonna find out exactly what Tiffy time is all about.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war.
A triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship.
the gloves are truly off.
Kicking the door. Been in the quarter, I call for the mud, I can give you a talk. If they want a battle, I'm letting it loose.
Today,
WWE is coming to Lyon, France.
This is uncharted territory for
The
them.
sports entertainment juggernaut.
To follow up a historic WrestleMania
by hopping across the pond.
Savoir-faire.
The event is called Backlash.
WWE's first premium live event in Lyon, France.
I'm done and I'm sick of the talk, the smiling faces, not anymore. Kicking the door. Been in the quarter, I call for the mud, I can give you a talk.
And here we go.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war.
Welcome to WWE Backlash.
The smiling faces, not anymore.
today,
I am no longer the hunter. I am the hunted.
nightmares
AJ Styles challenges Cody Rhodes at Backlash.
do come true.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war.
Rhodes versus Styles
I love all the trouble, I've been here before.
for the undisputed WWE Championship.
I respect you, Cody, but your title reign is going to end.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war. I come from the...
Then, now, forever. Together.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war.
The countdown to WWE Backlash, oh, it is on. The site, Lyon, France. One of the biggest food and cinema capitals of the world. As the third largest city in France, it houses about 500,000 people, but this weekend, best believe the WWE Universe is taking over. So where exactly are we? Well, Lyon is less than 2 hours by train from Paris and about a 10-hour flight from New York City. And how about the venue? The brand spanking new LDLC Arena, which, by the way, just opened back in November, is where all the action is going down for what is a historic night as France hosts a WWE Premium Live event for the first time ever. And you know what they say. It's all about the game and how you play it. This man right here, Paul Triple H Levesque, he plays it well as the WWE's chief content officer. He's on the scene, and so is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who will, for the first time since becoming the undisputed WWE champion at WrestleMania, defend his title against that man right there, AJ Styles, a man Cody has called a future first ballot Hall of Famer. It's also a man who slapped Cody across the face last night on SmackDown. We'll see how that plays out. And how about our world heavyweight champion, Damian Priest, rocking the Judgment Day purple. No surprise there, but tonight he is focused on defending that title against main event Jey Uso, who has his sights on becoming a singles champ for the first time.
Did you guys have a good time tonight? I think Paris deserves a good old-fashioned PLE.
For the first time ever, a premium live event is coming to France. Backlash is live from the LDLC Arena in Lyon-Dessine.
But did you know this bond between WWE and France was forged nearly 40 years ago in the City of Light? Catapulting sports entertainment to a global stage.
Oh yeah, Macho Madness in Paris, France. Elizabeth, I told you we were going to the top.
All while paving the way for the future.
fella. The people are jumping off their seats. They're waiting for us to get there. They can't wait till that plane lands in France. People are excited. We're excited. Everybody loves WWE, especially France, fella.
The excitement's uncontrollable.
Always excited anytime we can come to France and show the world what we do, which is entertain people better than anybody else on this planet.
The love, indescribable. Where time stops and unforgettable moments are created. Now a new era is upon us.
Well, we are just getting started.
Lyon, France. It's time to create some magic of your own.
And now, WWE presents Countdown to Backlash.
The countdown is on. There she is. Our Women's Royal Rumble winner is now our WWE Women's Champion. And her first title defense will come in a triple threat match, which will feature this woman who is rolling into Backlash, Miss Naomi, having a good time in good spirits. But is it Tiffany time? One of the fastest rising WWE superstars in recent memory, Tiffany Stratton, has put herself in the title picture. And how about the new tag team of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair? They are always seemingly on the same page. They look great. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is the Countdown to WWE Backlash. I'm your host, Jackie Redmond, and I am absolutely thrilled to be alongside two absolute studs as we get you set for Backlash. Yeah, you guys are studs. Yeah, studs. All caps. I'd put it in all caps, honestly. I really mean it. You both look dapper. Of course, we've got Big E in the house.
Yes, we do. Can I say, as a 38-year-old man, I am so excited to have afternoon or morning events here in the States. It's incredible. Okay. I am so tired of being invited to dinners after 9. More brunches, more early events. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
He has said his piece. We've also got the best in the world, CM Punk, back with us.
What are words I have never said before in my life for 500, Jackie? I wish I was in France.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I like being here with you guys to talk about the PLE, but just seeing clips and seeing that crowd from SmackDown last night, absolutely insane. I'm excited to talk about things today.
Well, let me ask you both this. You both have wrestled in France.
Yes.
What stands out to you about the fan base over there?
Oh, it's incredible. Every time we would do live events over there in Paris. Again, it's not on TV. 10,000 plus. The fans are always incredible. I think, too, I wasn't there at this event, but I don't know if you remember the live event from a year or so ago where Corbin was absurdly over in Paris. It's incredible. Look, that's not a shot at Corbin. That's not a shot at Corbin, okay? I'm just saying, typically, you don't get a response like that, but the Parisian fans, the French fans are really incredible.
Corbin, if you're watching, call us.
A lot of love for you, Corbin.
Little known fact, every single time that I have wrestled in France, been main event. Believe it or not. Ooh. Yeah, I've been fortunate to work with some superstars. I tagged with Shawn Michaels in France.
No big deal. You want to brush his shoulder off?
Okay, I got you.
We thought we were going to save that bit for a little bit later, but that's fine. We'll revisit it.
It's okay.
They're starved, honestly. You know, they're very passionate fans, and we don't go over there as often as they like, so they show up.
Oh, they certainly do. That was on display last night on Friday Night SmackDown. So much so that, get this, according to Triple H himself, the WWE Universe in France literally received a warning about the noise level at LDLC Arena. Absolutely insane. And watching it on television, I mean, you could feel it. So if that was an indicator of what's to come tonight from this crowd, buckle your seatbelt. But what's like the hottest crowd or loudest crowd that you remember?
I always think back to, you wouldn't think it, or at least I wouldn't think it, Santiago, Chile, I think circa 2017. Incredible. We did 2 nights back to back there. They were better even the next night, but one of those crowds I'll never forget.
I think international crowds are always next level. I think the night after WrestleManias has been traditionally predominantly people who have traveled internationally. So they bring this electricity that a lot of the times you can't really get in the States. Selfishly, I have to say Chicago is always the loudest place. But that goes back to me being a little kid and being fortunate to see hockey games in the old Chicago Stadium before they blew that up, turned it into a parking lot. But Allstate Arena, when I came back at Survivor Series, I couldn't hear living color. I couldn't hear anything. It was white noise. Thought I was having a stroke. Turned out I wasn't. It was just a really, really loud crowd happy to see me.
Well, listen, kudos to the WWE Universe out in Lyon, France, because they showed up, they showed out. They're going to do that again in less than an hour for WWE Backlash. And I have to imagine one of, if not the loudest entrances, will probably be that of main event Jey Uso. It's probably the hottest entrance in WWE right now. He is taking on Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And with that, let's check in with Byron Saxton.
Yeet.
Thank you, Jackie. I am standing outside the locker room of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who, outside of a few media appearances today, has been holed up in his locker room. Now, the situation surrounding Cody is this. There's been a lot of noise from critics who wonder whether or not Cody is going to be as hungry as he was when he was pursuing the undisputed WWE Championship. Also, a lot of critics who are asking whether or not Cody can match the anticipated aggressiveness of AJ Styles here tonight. Well, being around Cody, getting the vibe from Cody earlier on today, it's as simple as this. Cody understands there's been a lot of talk between himself and AJ Styles, and Cody made it abundantly clear to me that he's got to go out there and back it up. He's got to beat AJ Styles, and he has to retain his championship, because if he doesn't, all that talk about finishing his story means nothing. That's the word from the locker room of the American Nightmare. Right now, I will send things over to my colleague, Kayla Braxton.
Thanks, Byron. I'm standing outside the locker room of AJ Styles right now, but I actually saw the phenomenal one earlier, looking more confident than ever ahead of his undisputed WWE Championship match against Cody Rhodes later on tonight. And I had the chance to sit down with AJ last week to chat about how he got to this point. And those of you watching will have the opportunity to see what he said later on in the show. But in the meantime, back to you, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Kayla. We're looking forward to that. Let's take a look at what is on the docket tonight in Lyon, France. The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Damian Priest defending against main event Jey Uso. The women's tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors, will also defend their titles against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Elsewhere in tag team action, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens taking on Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Who is the tribal chief? Nobody knows. That question still lingers. But these two teams will go head-to-head tonight in Lyon, France. And it is a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. In our main event, the undisputed WWE Championship is on the line. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, takes on AJ Styles.
When one good story ends, an even better one begins.
Rhodes middle of the ring. Crossroads. Cody's not done yet. Come on, Cody. Finished the story.
For every moment that has defined me, for every single fan who has believed in me, for everyone who ever dreamed out in the open, you and I, right here and now, are standing on top of the mountain. My name is Cody Rhodes. Once undesirable, become undeniable, and now your undisputed WWE Champion.
It was a beautiful thing to see you finish your story.
AJ's the #1 contender.
But it's a shame that your title reign is going to end at Backlash.
Cody, you have something I want. To win back the championship, I'd say would prove a lot of people wrong. They don't know what I'm capable of. They think maybe I'm over the hill. Maybe I'm done. If you want to be the best, outwork the guy beside you. And I've done just that my whole career. And you know what's changed since then? Nothing.
We have two Georgia boys ready to mix it up for the first time for the biggest prize in the game. We haven't crossed paths yet, but we've been down the same roads, and we had to prove ourselves outside of WWE. And I look at this right here, and the weight of this isn't just of leather and gold. And at Backlash, we're gonna see if you can carry it.
It seems like you're implying that I cannot carry the weight of that championship. That means that no matter how phenomenal you are, this is not a dream match for me. It's a must win.
There can only be one. I'm gonna demolish everything and prove a point.
It's not about winning the title, it's about keeping it.
I've waited my time. That time is now up. And I'm sorry, Cody, I really am. That's yours as well.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Well, Cody Rhodes becoming the undisputed WWE champion was a story 2 years in the making. Now he looks to stay at the top of that mountain. His first test coming in the form of AJ Styles. Look, there's no doubt there is pressure at the top. Both of you in your careers have held championships. You've been at the top. How hard is it to stay there?
It's not easy at all. And look, Cody's foil in this, AJ, is someone, look, I'm someone who's probably online a little bit more than I should be, and I think a lot of the scuttlebutt kind of recently has been, there are some people who have had the gall to say AJ is washed, that he's near the end, they're counting the days until he turns it in, and you can see this renewed focus and energy with AJ. You see the package with him doing the cold plunge. He came back. I don't know if it's horse meat. I don't know what this man has been ingesting, but he is massive. He is massive. And AJ, I think, is going to take this opportunity to show people that he has not lost a step, that he is ready to take this championship. And for Cody to have this build of 2 years to finally get to this point, to lose it here tonight in Lyon would be devastating.
I look at AJ as somebody who's inspirational. This is a guy who I rubbed shoulders with very early in our careers, and he has the same story with Cody where he says, we traveled the same roads, we haven't crossed paths yet. I've crossed paths with both these guys at various stages of their career and my career. This is the Battle of Georgia. We're going to find out who's the peachiest peach in the peach tree, you know? The stakes can't get higher for both guys.
Well, they can, and I thought AJ Styles made a really solid point on Friday Night SmackDown when he said, look, Cody, you needed all these Hall of Famers to come out and help you finish your story at WrestleMania, and guess what? I beat all of them, and I'm going to prove that I'm still in my prime. We'll see if that's the case, but I think there's a lot of pressure on Cody Rhodes to deliver now as the undisputed WWE champion. But we got some news that we need to hit on with the WWE universe here, fellas, because earlier today on X, we found out that today, immediately following Backlash in France, there will be a special WrestleMania announcement during the 150th Kentucky Derby pre-race show, which is airing on NBC. So we will certainly be tuning in for that immediately following Backlash. And, you know, I did talk to a friend of mine, Eddie Olchuk. I know you know who that is, CM Punk. And he did tell me, for anyone that's into the ponies and the horse racing, Catching Freedom #4, and of course the favorite, Fierceness. So I did a little bit of horse racing research.
Well done.
Catching Freedom, it's got a nice ring to it. I might have to place a bet or something.
Horse meat, horse races. We're just tying it all together cohesively.
Listen, we're off to a great start, and we have a jam-packed and exciting show for you here as we continue to count down to WWE Backlash. We'll hear from Jey Uso, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill. Don't go anywhere.
For the first time ever, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia,
This is an historic night tonight.
comes Friday Night SmackDown at the Jeddah Superdome. Follow the next night by King and Queen of the Ring.
What a sight to behold.
One kingdom, two epic nights.
From the banks of the Red Sea, the cradle of civilization.
Friday Night SmackDown and King and Queen of the Ring. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, May 24th and May 25th.
Bayley suffering through excruciating pain right now. History is on the line. Down goes Io. Making the climb. The champion is down. Big elbow by Bayley. Rose plant. Can she do it? Bayley did it! Talk about gutsy, courageous, brave. Bayley, for the 4th time in her career, and for the first time in WrestleMania, can call herself Women's Champion.
I feel so damn proud to call myself your new WWE Undisputed Women's Champion. I am so excited to start this brand new journey with you. So why don't we start it off by giving out a brand new opportunity.
It's Tiffy time. I accept. It is Tiffy time.
The center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton may well be installed as the best athlete in the entire women's division in all of WWE.
Showing off that Team USA gymnastics background.
When I look in the mirror, I think to myself, I am the epitome of what a true WWE superstar is.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but I had somebody in mind. The one and only Naomi.
This is not the same Naomi that we knew. Naomi could be as dangerous now as she has ever been. Former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, a Tag Team Champion.
I have earned every single thing that I have gotten here in the WWE, and I don't plan on stopping now.
Bayley will make her first title defense against longtime friend and former champion, Naomi. The WWE Women's Championship hanging in the balance. Bayley to belly under the desk. Tiffany Stratton. What the hell does Tiffany Stratton think she's doing?
If it won't give it to us, she's going to take it.
Prettiest moonsault ever. Bayley will have to defend her WWE Women's Championship in a triple threat match.
Who better than the center of the universe herself to win the WWE Women's Championship?
I'm sick of the talk, the smiling faces, not anymore.
Love the sound of that.
Stratton never afraid to step on toes on her way up the mountain.
And there's nothing that I'm going to let get in the way of me making the most of this moment.
It's true, but if they want to battle, I'm ready for it.
There's one thing that's not going to change, and that's me as your WWE Women's Champion.
I can give you a tour.
Welcome back to the countdown to WWE Backlash in Lyon, France, which is just over an hour down the road from Grenoble, a place made famous by the 8th wonder of the world. Let's be real, we can't bring France and wrestling together without mentioning Andre the Giant.
His legend will live forever.
From Grenoble in the French Alps, Andre the Giant.
Fans, take a look at this. Can you believe that?
There is no doubt, at 7 foot 4 inches tall and weighing 520 pounds, he was indeed the 8th wonder of the world.
Andre the Giant, he's the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th wonder of the world.
France will always be known for its timeless culture. but perhaps its greatest export was Andrei Rene Roussimoff.
This man draws, without a doubt, more people than any single attraction in the world today.
The new WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, is a 450,000 square foot technological marvel. But the piece de resistance of the building greets you upon entering the main lobby. A massive 5-story mural that took 2 weeks to create of the one superstar that embodies the gravitas of WWE. Andre's imposing frame made him a must-see attraction around the globe.
This is the $15,000 slam match.
Andre picks him up. He's on down. Look at this. He's going to money out.
As he left his footprint on the wrestling world.
Size 23 right in the kisser.
Going undefeated for over 15 years.
Here's a man has never lost the match.
You are unquestionably the biggest professional athlete in any sport anywhere in the world.
There he is, Gorilla, the big man himself, Andre the Giant, captain of this team.
Hey, how about getting your foot off my shoulder? His crowning achievement would come on the grandest stage in Pontiac, Michigan, March 1987.
A brand new attendance record of 93,173.
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Andre graciously passed the torch in arguably the most iconic match in history. WWE paid homage to Andre years later by immortalizing him as the first ever inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame.
And I gotta do it my way, the Giant way.
Andre the Giant, the man born in Grenoble, France, will forever be known as the man who turned professional wrestling into an international business. And he did so with his hearty laugh and big heart.
There is only one Andre the Giant. Merci beaucoup.
Look, and as great as that package is, we didn't even get into Princess Bride, Fezzik, the $6 Million Man. Look, I think Andre, Trading Mom as well. I think the cool thing about Andre is he really just surpassed. He was larger than life. He was bigger than just wrestling. I think what he did outside of the ring, being this crossover character, doing movies, film, all the things he did, really incredible. And he has left a lasting legacy. We still talk about Andre with this mystique.
Yeah, he certainly transcended wrestling. There will only ever be one Andre the Giant. I think there might only ever be one Bayley as well, who is going to have her first title defense tonight here at WWE Backlash in a triple threat, though, CM Punk.
We go from the 8th wonder of the world to another wonder of the world, Bayley. She's great, and I'm glad she got her flair. She won the Women's Royal Rumble. She defeated a really tough champion at WrestleMania, but now I don't like her odds because she can lose her championship that she so richly deserves without being pinned or submitted. It's a very dangerous match for a champion to be in.
Yeah, and she's got Naomi to deal with, who has her own resume that speaks for itself, and Tiffany Stratton, who is this upstart that is rising the ranks of WWE rather quickly. I'm sure it's going to be a heck of a match. I think Bayley is up for the challenge, though. Elsewhere on tonight's card, the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest defends against main event Jey Uso.
For Damian Priest, it's all about one thing, wanting his name to live forever. Nobody thought I would be on the stage. I clearly have a desire to be a champion, and championships will come. Legacy and infamy waits for no man.
Damian Priest is Mr.
Senor
in the Bank. WWE superstar.
He's senior Money in the Bank.
McIntyre claims the gold.
Punk just dropped McIntyre. Oh my God! Run into the ring with the contract.
That's the end right now.
Priest has won the world title.
All rise.
This is the moment.
Main event Jey Uso is now in your city. I'm just fighting for me now. My legacy. I got a lot to prove. Prove to the world who I say I am.
Fatal four-way match to determine the new #1 contender for Damian Priest World Heavyweight Championship. It comes down to these two men. Future Shock DDT. Spear! Frog Splash! Uso gets Priest for the world title.
Main event, Jey Uso.
Whatever you think I'm out here for, you're wrong. You said we next, Uso. You were right. Well, half right. I was next. This shows why I'm now. You're just the first on a list of people that the machine is gonna feed me to make sure this looks good on me. You get to be the first to lead all the fans all across the world in making sure that all rise for El Campeón.
That's all you see me as, bruh? Strong talk coming from the leader of the Judgment Day. But the only reason why you're the leader of the Judgment Day is because Rhea Ripley got hurt. Hey, champ, you know what that make you to me right now? Dom Mysterio's bitch.
When it comes to Jey Uso, I do not need your help to beat him.
What are you doing? And you think they're gonna feed me to you? No, you getting fed to me. Cause I'm next. Yeah. So I'm gonna knock the heat out your ass.
Jey Uso, I appreciate you taking a moment to talk to me. I want to go back to last week. Last Friday, you were picked by Monday Night Raw as the #1 draft pick. And now tonight, you got a chance to put a stamp on that by becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Where are the emotions at?
Man, Sax, I got goosebumps right now. Oos, you can't see them, but I got goosebumps, man. I appreciate you, Oos. Being there from day one, from the jump start of my career to tonight, Oos. You get to witness a career-defining moment for Jey Uso, man. Damian is a beast out there. But I gotta prove to myself, Oos, I can do this on my own, man. Stand on my own 2 feet. And by the end of the night, Leon France and the whole world gonna yeet with me, Oos. The new World Heavyweight Champion. Main event, Jey Uso. So, man, yeet with me, Sax.
Yeet.
Come on.
Good luck, Jay. Jackie, we could be looking at the next World Heavyweight Champion right here. We're going to send it back to you.
Byron, thank you so much. You know, gentlemen, I interviewed Jey Uso on our holiday show, and he said his goal coming into 2024 was to become a singles champion for the first time in his career. But we've heard Damian Priest say that he's not really singles champ caliber or worthy. Jey Uso has finally earned himself an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship. Is he ready for it?
You know, Jackie, in that package, Jey talked about, he said, I have a lot to prove. And I also read this snippet from an interview recently where he talked about his WrestleMania match against his brother and talked about, honestly, like being disappointed. And I think there was some fan backlash as well. Just people expected more. And I know he put so much on his shoulders, so much pressure on himself. And I think, there's nothing like having a match that's disappointing or going out there and cutting a promo that's disappointing and it eats at you, especially on a stage like WrestleMania. So I think that'll be his major motivator going into tonight, is knowing I am going to go out there and not only win a world championship, but I'm going to have a match that people remember forever.
Punk, do both Damian Priest and Jey Uso owe you a thank you? Because this match is kind of happening because of you. You played
I'm full of gratitude. I like giving gifts. Sometimes it's Starbucks gift cards. Sometimes it's a broken elbow. Receipts left and right. Haven't gotten my fruit basket from Damian yet. I'm sure it's just in the mail. But
you helped Jey too.
Jay's my guy. You know, he talks about Brian Saxton being there from the start of his career. I feel like I was one of those guys too, along with yourself, Big E, and watching him mature from this young kid to the tag team specialist to now trying to break through to become a single star is fun to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think both of these superstars have a lot to prove in this match tonight. And on that note, let's bring in special correspondent Peter Rosenberg with his thoughts.
Hey guys, I got to tell you, I am incredibly pumped for this match. Jey Uso, Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. A lot of times I think we over-ask the question, who needs this match more? Who has more motivation? Every WWE superstar, as Punk and E know very well, every WWE superstar wants to win every match, particularly if there's gold involved. It goes without saying. What makes this match so compelling to me goes beyond the title. It's about the reputation. It's about the name Main Event Jey Uso. All right, Jey Uso has become one of the faces of WWE, one of the faces of Monday Night Raw. Now he has a chance to truly be Main Event Jey Uso by winning that championship. And if he misses the opportunity, that's a tough loss. Damian Priest, a guy who a lot of people thought needed the Judgment Day, when he cashed in at WrestleMania, thought he only became champion because of the man I'm talking to right now, CM Punk. A lot of questions about whether he's a one-hit wonder or not. He cannot afford to lose this match either. So there is so much that makes this match compelling beyond the title, but what it means to both of these superstars. Forced to choose, I'm going Damian Priest. I think there's a ton of motivation. I'm seeing the space that he's been in since he won the title. He seems like a different dude. He's no longer senior Money in the Bank. He's the World Heavyweight Champ, and I'm going with Damian Priest. Back to you guys.
Rosenberg, thank you. We appreciate you, my guy. He makes a good point. They do both have something to prove. He likes Damian Priest's odds, but I would say Jey Uso's coming in with the momentum because the Judgment Day are in a bit of disarray. It has not helped Damian Priest the last couple of weeks.
Not at all. Look, Jey Uso's moniker is Main Event Jey Uso. When you have a moniker, there's a lot of pressure to live up to that. When you have the World Heavyweight Championship, that allows you to be in the main event. Look, my name is Big E. I'm not very tall. A lot of pressure. I know what it's like to have a moniker and have that constant pressure on you, okay?
All right, well, we will see how he deals with said pressure. It comes on the heels of a very busy week for our WWE superstars who have absolutely been trotting all over the globe. Raw last week in Kansas City. We hop the pond. We go to Italy. We have a time, and that was just stop number one over the last week.
Yeah, and a lot of the times when you're on these, you see, Bologna, Italy, right there. A lot of the times you're in hotels and buses and airplanes. So when you're finally in front of that live crowd, that's when you come alive.
Yeah, I just saw Vienna come up, a little humble brag, but was one time I woke up in Vienna, had a show in Paris, and then went to sleep in London. A line I used to actually use with the ladies all the time. I'm out the game right now, though. I love you, baby. Love you, Chris. But yes, yeah, a little humble brag.
I certainly don't know anything about that, and here we are now. We are in Lyon, France. I know a guy named Lyon. He's actually from France. He's a professional. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Look at that gem.
We just saw Triple H in that package saying, "Are you ready?" And that is a big question as we inch closer and closer to WWE Backlash. We are less than 30 minutes away from going live to Lyon, France. Did you know there are over 400 secret passageways in the city that run between courtyards through buildings? These passageways were historically used by silk workers to transport their goods. And based on my research, you can get really good silk in Lyon, France. Kayla Braxton is on the scene, and she found the next best thing, not a local, but French-Canadian Kevin Owens as her tour guide.
Bonjour. It's me, Kayla Braxton, in the beautiful Lyon, France. It's WWE Backlash weekend, but I thought it could be fun to have a little fun and try out some of the local cuisine. But here's the problem I'm realizing is that my French is a little rusty or just non-existent. So I figured I'd bring in one of our French-speaking WWE superstars.
There's a swan over there.
Kevin, I'm talking.
There's a swan.
There is a swan, buddy.
You see it?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Do you have a sweet tooth by any chance?
Yeah. Well, only for chocolate. Though,
okay. Well, look.
Yeah, let's go get.
I'm
gonna get something for Randy. Est-ce qu'on peut avoir trois petites boîtes de macarons? C'est mousse, chocolat, noisette, crémeux, noisette, biscuit, noisette. It's a lot of hazelnut and chocolate mousse. It's gonna roll. Let's go. I hope these macarons don't melt before I can give them to Randy.
I do, want to talk more with you about Randy and your relationship with him over the years. But I know this is going to take a lot of brain energy, so I need a coffee. I don't know about you, but
I don't drink coffee. You think I have C4 energy drinks here?
Well, what do I find out?
C4. They have creme brulee. That's right up my alley. Let's get you a coffee.
Get
I'll get a creme brulee.
Creme brulee. What you have? Is this one mine?
No. Tell me.
Why do you have two?
One's never enough.
You did say you had a sweet tooth.
Mm-hmm. It's really funny because Randy's a very intimidating guy. When you first get to WWE, you want him to like you just because he's Randy Orton, you know what I mean? So when I first started here, I wasn't intimidated by him because I figured he doesn't want people to be intimidated by him. And I think that's why he took a liking to me. Mm-hmm. Like I remember our first match, I was the same with him as I was with anybody else in the ring. And he commented on that later on saying, first time we wrestled, you didn't treat me like anyone else. Yeah, Randy's great. And I feel very lucky to team with him. You think cars can't drive here, obviously.
Kev, where did you get a baguette?
I found it earlier. Merci beaucoup. Pas de problème. Merci beaucoup. Salut.
I really do appreciate you hanging out and doing this with me. And yeah, we're gonna see you do your thing with Randy Orton tonight at Backlash.
Oui.
Yeah. All right.
Bloodline. Is that mall?
What? Yes. All right, Kev.
I think he's trying to tell us to leave.
Well, now I want creme brulee. But Kevin Owens teaming up with Randy Orton. Meanwhile, over in the women's tag division, the Kabuki Warriors take on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Let's check in with Byron Saxton.
Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, tonight is the night where you ladies are going to have the opportunity to wrestle away those women's tag team titles from Damage Control.
Oh, okay. I am so tired of talking about Damage Control. I'm done. I'm done. I'm ready to be done with Kyrie, Asuka, Io, Dakota, Bayley, maybe. I don't even know. I don't even care. All I know is that taking those tag team titles away from them means that they're going back to Raw, and I am done with them for good. I don't know how many ways I have to keep repeating myself. I am tired of talking about it. I'm tired of hearing myself talk about how I want to be done with them. I want to be done with them, and we're going to be done with them after tonight, after we take those titles. And that's all I got to say.
What she's trying to say, Byron, is that we're just excited to be the new tag team champions. And I don't even think you don't have time for this.
No, I'm ready.
I don't have time for this. Let's go. We got things to do.
Yeah, do your thing. Good luck tonight, ladies. Back to you guys on the panel.
Byron, thank you so much. Punk.
Wait. Oh, I love France.
Listen, it never gets old, does it? Hey, hearing a crowd of thousands chant your name?
Yeah, it never gets old, but it just goes to show. Like, that's why I say I wish I was there. I'm happy to be here with y'all. I wish I was there with them. And I promise, France, next time you see me, I will have my boots on. I promise.
Listen, I think the people in Lyon, France wish you were there, not here, as well. The chants have started. The crowd has been loud all week. That continues on the other side. Stick around. More Backlash coming up, including a sit-down with AJ Styles.
Now, for the first time ever, NXT comes to UFC's Apex Arena with NXT Battleground.
By orders of the tribal chief, the bloodline accept accountability.
Finished the story!
You're not invited. There's a broom closet down there.
There are consequences to losing. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, your tribal chief
Losing and winning matters. So that means consequences need change.
That's Tama Tonga!
That's the son of Haku, who has been wrecking shop in Japan for years!
Who's calling the shots now?
Paul, is Jimmy okay?
By orders of the tribal chief.
What the hell does that mean?
Were you aware of this? One of those rental cars belongs to Kevin Owens.
Oh my God.
And the other one is your boy Tama Tonga's.
Kevin Owens needs medical attention.
I will not tolerate this kind of savage behavior. Tell me you understand.
Get some more help out here!
I understand.
Because, Paul, if you don't,
just reckless.
The repercussions are going to be equally savage.
Tama Tonga has just been unleashed!
Losing isn't the only thing that has consequences.
Paul Heyman is usually the picture of control.
Have you ever seen the wise man look so uncomfortable?
He's seemingly out of the loop.
Are you done yet?
When it comes to the bloodline. Oh, God.
Oh, it's bringing the fight to Tama Tonga. And the numbers yet again overwhelming Kevin Owens. Talk about an unexpected ally. KO's got to be happy to see Orton.
This is certainly not the last we've seen from these four.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue au tout premier RKO Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I come out here with wisdom. Back out of this match now.
Oh, look out!
These guys couldn't even wait 24 hours till Backlash.
They're not making the Backlash.
Bitterness, vitriol, and bloodshed.
You might want to call in the French National Guard. This is crazy. This is going to be one hell of a fight and one hell of a night.
WWE makes history tonight, holding their first ever premium live event in Lyon, France. But did you know Lyon, the birthplace of cinema, where the Lumiere brothers are from, they presented the first moving pictures and created the first moving pictures. And we are less than 20 minutes away from WWE Backlash. So let's check in with Byron Saxton, who is inside LDLC Arena to set the scene for us. Byron.
So I have the best gig right now because I get to walk you through what our superstars are going to feel when they come marching down this aisle tonight at Backlash. But then they have that moment where they lift up their heads, they look around, they absorb the energy of the people to the right, the people to the left, the people behind me going nuts. In fact, I'm getting crazy right now. I feel like getting in the ring and hurting somebody, but I won't do that because I have an expensive suit. However, this is what we talk about when we say palpable, infectious energy here at Backlash, here in front of these incredible fans here in Lyon. Speaking of energy, that music right there is for our WWE French commentary team. Christophe Juice, Philippe Sherrod, these guys are like rock stars here in France. You can hear the ovation. Bonjour! What's up, guys? Good show. Have a good show. I'm gonna hang out here. I'm gonna absorb more of this energy, and we're gonna send it back to you guys on the panel.
Thank you so much. The crowd already very loud in Lyon, France, and there is Randy Orton himself arriving for a massive match as he teams up with Kevin Owens. Their names go perfectly well together. RKO, it's like a perfect match, right? I would think so. There's Kevin Owens wearing an RKO shirt, and Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, the two they will take on in that match tonight, and it is a big one. I don't even know where to start with this one because Paul Heyman had a lot of interesting things to say last night on SmackDown. Hasn't talked to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania. Who is the tribal chief? Nobody knows. What we do know is that Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga are going to take on Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Tama does. You know, he's one half of Gorillas of Destiny in New Japan with his brother Tonga Loa, and so he's very used to tagging with family. I'm in the know. I know things.
Okay, I didn't know where we exist. Sometimes I'm still, you know,
where the line is.
10 years ago, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, if I get yelled at, I'll get yelled at.
You can't say New Japan on TV.
Things are different now.
Okay.
They are. Yeah. But yes, he's very used to tagging with family, and he's doing the same tonight. And, you know, he's brought a vicious streak that I think is kind of, we haven't seen anything quite like that right now. So I'm really excited to see what Tonga does, not only long-term in WWE, but how he starts tonight. Tonight is going to be big for him. I still have no idea what MFT means, but it scares me a little bit, just a bit.
Oh, I know what it means, but I'm not allowed to say it on the broadcast. Shout out to the French commentary team. Certainly hope nothing terrible happens to their desk. People call Samoans savages for a reason, and it invokes these images of grass skirts and, you know, raw fish and fish bones and stuff like that. But that is a complete misnomer. It is because they will break your fingers, they will bite your nose off, they will rip your ears off, they'll take your eyeballs out. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens have got their hands full tonight. Who's the tribal chief? Is it Jimmy? Is it Solo? Is it still Roman? Or is it somebody else that we haven't seen yet?
Is it The Rock?
It might be.
From a distance?
I don't know.
Perhaps?
I don't know. I heard they've been calling him final boss. I don't know.
You've known Paul Heyman a long time. Any thoughts on his vibe, let's say, on SmackDown last night? Seems a little... and maybe like he doesn't have things under control.
You take a white boy and you drop him in the middle of a bunch of Samoans, you're going to be nervous.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
All right, well, you said it, not
You're going to be
me.
nervous.
Let's turn our attention to tonight's main event. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defending his championship against AJ Styles earlier this week. Caleb Braxton had a chance to sit down with AJ. Let's see what he had to say.
AJ, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with me ahead of your match at Backlash. But I really want to kind of get back to talking about this new attitude that we've seen from you since you returned a few months ago. What kind of brought on this new persona?
Attitude. I see it as more like focus. I'm dialed in. I was out, got my mind right, knew what I wanted, got focused. That's where I'm at right now.
And I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but it's been nearly 6 years since the last time you were world champion here in WWE. Do you think that length of time is kind of what's fueled this ruthlessness that we've been seeing?
It was me wondering why I needed to be complacent with where I was at. What was so great about where I was at? I couldn't figure it out. So again, I got my mind right and I got focused.
Now, as we know, you are the #1 contender for the undisputed WWE Championship, and you're facing someone that you've never faced before in Cody Rhodes. What are your thoughts on Cody and this championship match you two are going to share?
I totally respect Cody and what he has done. I've been there, I understand it, it makes sense to me. I know the drive that he has right now, and I want that as well. Not just the title, but the way it feels going out there as the champion. I want all that. I haven't forgotten what it feels like.
Well, I mentioned the fact that you and Cody Rhodes haven't faced each other in the ring yet, but it seems like the two of you have been like ships passing in the night for most of your career. I mean, just months after you debuted in WWE, Cody Rhodes left WWE. Does this match kind of resonate on a more personal level?
It's not personal, it's business. But I take business very personal. I don't want to hurt Cody. but I need to beat him. So we'll see what happens.
Well, let's say, worst case scenario, things don't go your way at Backlash. What's next for AJ Styles?
That's not even in here. I want it more than Cody does. I don't need it. I want it more than he does. It took Cody 2 years to finish his story and win the championship. But it's only going to take him 27 days to lose it.
Strong words from AJ Styles, who's looking to dethrone Cody Rhodes less than a month after he finally reached the top of the mountain. It is our main event. Let's bring in the bumps Sam Roberts for his thoughts on Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. What do you got, Sam?
Merci beaucoup, Jackie, CM Punk, and Big E, or as the French say, Big E. Look, tonight, Cody Rhodes makes history, walking into a WWE Premium Live event for the first time as the undisputed WWE champion, but he's got a spoiler staring across the ring from him, AJ Styles, who Cody has described as a modern-day excellence of execution. Punk, you and I both know that the excellence of execution was at his most dangerous when he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, when maybe he was acting a little more in self-interest than what every single fan thought of everything that he was doing. And Punk, I also know that you were in the ring with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania celebrating Cody's victory. You know who was not in that ring? AJ Styles. AJ Styles wasn't part of a collective victory. AJ Styles was not part of propping up the leader of the WWE's new era because AJ Styles wasn't thinking about the new era. He wasn't thinking about the WWE. AJ Styles was only thinking about AJ Styles. And when AJ Styles is only thinking about AJ Styles, he's never more dangerous. I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes doesn't have a chance here, but what I am saying is what if? What if, instead of leaving with a victory parade, Cody Rhodes is left dreaming a dream of time gone by and looking at AJ Styles crowned the new, undisputed WWE champion. What if? What if? Au revoir, guys. Back to you.
Merci beaucoup, Sam Roberts. And that is the question. What if Cody Rhodes loses this championship that he spent 2 years trying to get his hands on? I mean, does that become one of the biggest disappointments in WWE history? I think it does, and that is a lot of pressure.
Easily. I think Punk was right. You got to take your ball and go home after something like that. And Cody has no intention of doing that. So tonight's going to be big. Look, and I think AJ is already on a lot of people, and rightfully so, on a lot of people's Mount Rushmore of the greatest to ever do it in ring. Bell to bell, untouchable. And I think a lot of people are waiting for him to kind of usher himself off into retirement, but he is not of that mind. He is not at all. He's trying to win a championship tonight to even further cement his legacy.
Biggest disappointment in WWE history? No, not a chance. Cody's been champion for a lot longer than 5 minutes and 46 seconds, so that's a feather in his cap. Will it be Cody Rhodes' biggest disappointment? I would tend to think so. That's why we were talking off the air. I said, man, he might have to throw his boots in the garbage. Maybe just burn his boots. I don't know. Will that happen? Will Cody do that? No, Cody's a fighter. When he falls down, he gets knocked down, he gets back up. But that is going to be what the match is about. Both guys have so much to lose. I could see this one going either way.
And so much to gain, right? And that is the beauty of a match of this caliber. The American Nightmare defending his championship against AJ Styles. We are just minutes away from WWE Backlash, so it feels like a good time to check in with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. I imagine, gentlemen, that it is already insanely loud inside that arena in Lyon, France.
Guys, 27 years I've been doing this. I have never heard a crowd as loud as they've been for the past hour before this show even began. It is insanity.
About 20 seconds ago, I saw your watch light up with a noise warning. It is unbelievable in here. Watch this. Let me hear you.
Look at, and you can see my Apple Watch just went off with my decibel warning. It's over 100 dBs already. We haven't even started the show.
It's going to be a night off for you and me because there's nothing that can be said that these 11,000 maniacs aren't already letting the world know. What a night it's going to be.
Let's head back to the studio. Punk, Big E, we miss you guys.
We miss you too. And please bring home some cheese for me and some wine for Big E, and then we'll still be friends.
What about me?
And
don't forget Jackie. You can't miss Jackie.
Cheese, wine, and chocolate for Jackie.
Yeah, and a baguette.
all right,
Throw one in too. Yeah.
The trifecta, if you will. I mean, you can hear the crowd
Yes.
through the screen, how insane that is.
Chills.
What does that do? I mean, you guys walk out in front of crowds all the time, but when it's like that, it's got to be some different type of level.
Yeah, you already come ready, you're already prepared regardless of the crowd, but it takes you to another level. It really does. And I have FOMO, I have chills right now because it really is like what we do. You want to win championships, you want to win matches, but it's about making moments. And a crowd like this, it is so easy to make an incredible moment in front of a crowd like that.
Well, my perspective has changed a lot coming back after 10 years. When's the last time I wrestled in France? Probably 2012, 2013. Obviously, the injury sidelined me, and I look at things like having a PLE in Perth. And, you know, you talk about the travel and missing relatives and loved ones, and, you know, you miss birthdays and anniversaries, graduations, funerals. Moments like that, crowds right now in Lyon, France, make everything worth it. They make all your aches and your pains go away. You have a migraine, you walk out there, it's gone. Now, after the match, it all comes flooding back. But for those moments when you're in front of an international crowd like that, you have no boss. You are Superman, you are the king of the world, and you're on top of it all.
And no one can take it.
No one can tell you what to do. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I miss it.
All right, we're running out of time, but real quick, just match you're most intrigued by before we send things over.
Cody, AJ, I know it's obvious right now, but I think that one's going to be a barn burner.
It's hard to say, honestly. I think this is a very pivotal moment in WWE as a whole. We have two new champions in Cody and Damian Priest. We also have new women's champion Bayley. Who's going to come out on top? Everybody's got a target on their back. I'm going to enjoy watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're all going to be...
PLE, sorry.
PLE, yep.
Sorry.
PLE,
Come on now. I'm the new guy here.
You've
Sorry.
been back long enough to get that one right. But, gentlemen, I appreciate you. For CM Punk and Big E, I am Jackie Redmond. It is a historic night in Lyon, France, the first premium live event ever. Enjoy WWE Backlash.
Today,
For the fourth time in her career,
Bayley,
It feels so good to call myself your new champion.
Naomi,
I have earned everything that I've gotten, and I don't plan on stopping now.
Tiffany Stratton,
Everyone is gonna find out exactly what Tiffy time is all about.
a triple threat.